Once again, the former president, Donald Trump, has been indicted. There have been new indictments in Donald Trump, and this one related to what happened on January 6th. And I'm looking forward to making this video to share with you some psychology behind the actions that the former president, Donald Trump, took on that day, and some foundational things that we need to understand about psychology that are taking place here. But first, let me reintroduce myself in case you are new to my video series and new to this channel. My name is Elliott Connie. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I like to make videos to share what is happening in the world and give you the psychology and the psychological impact of what is going on. So this is obviously a really big story. So let me start by introducing the new charges, and then I want to share something really important with you about what's happening here.
Here he is, the special counsel, Jack Smith.
Good evening. Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail. I encourage everyone to read it in full. The attack on our nation's capital on January 6th, 2021 was an unprecedented assault on the seat of American democracy. As described in the indictment, it was fueled by lies.
So that's the part that I want to hone in on. It was fueled by lies. Like many Americans, I will never forget that day. I remember I had scheduled a meeting with my business partner and one of our employees, and this employee said, "Oh my gosh, they're storming the Capitol." And I turned from the computer screen and looked at the television and saw something that still to this day defies logic. It's something that would have a difficult time processing. And I saw people literally storming the Capitol building. Lots of people have been charged and sentenced and are currently serving time for their activities on that day. So I'm not going to get into that part. What I do want to get into is this entire thing was based upon what we now refer to as the big lie, which was the presidential election was stolen and there was massive fraud. I paid real close attention at that time, now, and in between. There has been no evidence of fraud. So why do people believe lies? That's kind of what I want to talk about here today. Now, I made another video, one of the reasons we believe lies is what we refer to as confirmation bias. When someone tells you something that is in line with what you already think, you're more likely to believe it. I made a video about that already. You can go check that out. I went pretty deep into what confirmation bias is. In this video, I want to talk about how you can tell when someone is lying. The former president is obviously lying. Now, I say that, and I know people are going to watch this and going to leave comments and going to say, how do you know he's lying? And I believe him and all that stuff. But I want to tell you how we know he's obviously lying. Number one, there have been many people testify. It is in this unsealed indictment. There have been audio recordings. He knew he lost the election, and he was being told that by his senior advisors. He was being told that by 8 different people, Republicans, in position to tell him that you have lost this election. But he did not want to give up power. So as a consequence, he made up a lie that says the election was stolen, and he told that lie to the American people. Now, as many lawyers have said, he has the right to lie, that's fine. But the indictment is about the activities he took as a consequence of that lie. And I've always been curious, why were we so willing to believe a lie when it was so obviously a lie? There were many court cases that happened at that time, all of them thrown out, literally 100% of them thrown out. There were 2 election officials in Atlanta that Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani said were passing out voter slips. Rudy Giuliani has now admitted that he made that story up. There were scenarios where Donald Trump said there were 200,000 more votes casted than there were voters in a district in Pennsylvania. That was also a lie. So why do we believe these lies? And how can you tell when someone is lying? We believe these lies because of confirmation bias. We want to believe things that we already agree with. But the second thing is, how can you tell when someone's lying is when they're saying something and beyond just repeating the thing they're saying, there is no evidence to back up what they're saying. So if I were to say something that is a truth, like sugar is bad for you, let's just say, or too much sugar, I should say, is bad for you. I can say that, and then if you say, I don't believe you, I can give you data to support the claim. Sugar leads to obesity, sugar leads to diabetes. I can show you facts and data that back up the claim beyond just me repeating it over and over again. In this particular case, it was just repeated over and over again with no real data to back up the claim. And it's really important that we develop the ability to at least acknowledge to ourselves that we are being told something that is fabricated. This whole thing, in particular this new indictment, is based on believing the election was fraud, because now you have people who believed that lie all worked up trying to overturn what they believed was a flawed and fraudulent election. And there was no evidence to that fact other than the person in power saying that it was true. So look, these are sensitive things and unprecedented things. Like, I cannot believe a former president has now been indicted 3 times on criminal charges and will stand trial. In this new indictment, one of the star witnesses is Mike Pence, his vice president at the time. And I think Mike Pence is doing a noble thing and defending the Constitution, as he did on January 6th when he refused to use his position to do something unconstitutional and not certify the election. Please do a better job of deciphering when you're being told something that is not true, and understand that if you are hearing no evidence, if you are hearing nothing but a repeated story and narrative, you're being manipulated, not told the truth. And that's true in our personal lives. If someone is telling you something and all they're doing is repeating the something and not backing it up by data, then it's obviously not a truth. So look, there's going to be more stories coming out of this. There's going to be more indictments, or at least there's one other indictment they're anticipating coming from the investigation happening in Georgia. And as Americans, I think this is a real crucial and important time. And for our mental health, like, we have to protect against these things because it puts us in a position to be manipulated. So understand the foundation of this is built on a lie, and you got to do a good job of knowing when you're being lied to. In politics, that's really important. So thanks for watching this video. I'd love to hear what your take is on this story. I'd love to hear your response to this video. Please leave a comment below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on social media, and I'll see you in the next video.